Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So the day has finally come. I've finally now put the Porsche 997 engine back into the car. I've topped up all the coolant, I've done all the oil, I've done everything I've needed to. And today we're gonna be starting this car up for the first time. Now, as many of you guys know, this car is the gift that just keeps on giving. And obviously there's a lot more stuff that needs to be done on this car, i.e. window switch, window regulator, steering squib, seatbelt buckle on the driver's side. It's just a hell of a lot of stuff to still do on this car. Now, as I said to many of you guys, I'm in no rush to do it. Providing this car starts, I'm happy. I'm very happy. Providing it runs perfectly, I know I've built the engine correctly. I don't think I could have made a mistake, but you never know. There is a possibility that anyone can when building an engine. Could have dropped something in it, you could have made a mistake, you might have not seated something correctly. There's always that risk when you build an engine, not knowing what's actually going to happen when you actually start it. So we are going to be starting it today, and like I said, once I've got it running, this car is going to be outside and be putting a cover over it, and I'm going to bring it back in a few months' time because I've got a lot to do on the BMW stuff. This car has been on my list, it's been hogging my list for over the last year. I've done what I needed to do to it at least. Obviously the other stuff is only minor stuff, window regulator, window switch, and whatever else it's ever gonna need, and I'll leave it to 6. I wanna see if there's any oil leaks anywhere from the engine obviously, and make sure everything's running fine. Obviously I can't test drive it because it's got no MOT. The tracking's all over the place, there's something I won't be doing, but we'll be starting it up today. And let's hope to God it does start first time. It should do, timing's correct, it's got spark, got new ignition coils, got new spark plugs, everything's new. I even overhauled the whole battery cable that runs through the car. It goes to the positive battery cable at the front, and it goes to the power distribution box. I also changed that as well. I wanted to make sure this car starts up first time. So let's get onto it guys, and let's start this car up. I'll show you the engine and everything else that I've done it, because there's a lot of things that you guys wouldn't have seen, and then we'll get on to starting this car up. Okay guys, so you can see here the engine's now back in the car, and you can see how simple it is to actually reconnect this engine up. Obviously I never recorded it, but it's a very, very easy engine to take out and put back in. It's a one-man job. You don't need no more than one person to be able to do this. Like I said to many of you, Nathan was meant to help me. He thought I was gonna end up coming stuck, doing it on my own, not being able to do it, that I actually need him to do it, but in fact, and in theory, I actually didn't. I've managed to install this on my own, managed to rebuild this on my own, managed to put it back in on my own. Bearing in mind, me and him were the ones that actually tore it down. I wasn't meant to know where everything went back, but I did. And that's why I took my time rebuilding it to make sure I got every bolt going back to where it needs to go to. And everything went superbly, everything's back in. You can see I've got a nice cold air intake for the design tech, which it matches all obviously the exhaust and headers. We've got all that. I've obviously got a pipe across panel filter. You can see the sticker on there, which I put in there as well. Everything's ready to go. I've also got the bleeder valve up in the up position, ready for when I start it to bleed out all the air, because as many of you guys know, it's gonna chug out a lot of air from the cooling system, especially because I've done the fronts. I never re-topped up the coolant. I had all the engine disconnected. There's no coolant running through it. Obviously it needs to build up oil pressure. We need to build up fuel. We need to do a lot of different things. I've got everything reconnected the way it should be, including the vacuum lines. Very, very happy with the way it's come out. You probably see here as well, got new engine mounts. I bought new engine mounts, they were £150 each. That was the cheapest I could find them for Febby ones. I put new engine mounts on along with new bolts as well, just purely because, as many of you guys know, they're cross-thread. The engine mounts become rusty over time. I didn't want that. I wanted to be able to get this engine back in very, very easily, and it did go in very, very easily with my hydraulic table. So I'm very, very happy. Now we're gonna go ahead and start it up. Obviously the driver's door is too close to the lift, but it's not really an issue. Just gonna put a long screwdriver down there, hold the brake pedal so we can then fire this up. Then I'll show you everything on the dash so you guys can see that there isn't no faults, no problems, oil pressure's holding, no high oil pressure, no low oil pressure. You guys get to see it all. Apart from that, let's get onto it and start this car up. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'll leave you guys here so you guys can hear when the engine turns over. Bear in mind guys, this is gonna be the first time we're gonna be turning it over. So we don't know what we're gonna hear yet. Might be funny noises at the start, bearing in mind the engine's got no lubrication in it, no nothing from the oil. So we are going to start it up. I'm dreading the amount of smoke that's going to come out the exhaust from obviously all the graphogen and everything that's been used, but we'll just have to live with it. If the camera does get steamed up, sorry about that, guys. But as you guys know, it's just common when you do an engine rebuild from all the assembly lube and everything you're going to use, there's going to be a load of smoke. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to turn on the ignition. You'll probably hear the throttle body click as we do that. You can probably hear all the beeping as the electronic throttle body recalibrates itself and gets everything in position. Before we start it, on Porsches, they always seem to do this. This is very, very common. My Boxer does the same thing. Now we're gonna go ahead and just start it. And you can hear here, it's running very, very nicely. There's a lot of smoke coming out the exhaust on start up. I'm just hoping it don't fog up the whole inside of the garage. There's a lot of smoke coming from the exhaust, which is to be expected. And you can hear there, it's running quite high on the idle, and it did start up first time, which is very good. Bearing in mind that shows that the timing is correct for it to be able to start up straight away, and also it's got high compression. Bearing in mind I've done new piston rings and everything, so it's got very, very high compression. But the smoke, I'm hoping it's not going to smoke out in here, because there's a lot of it coming out the tailpipes. You guys can hear, it's all running at high at the moment, high idle, until it settles down. The amount of smoking, I think I'm going to have to open the doors, it's starting to smell. And I'm going to take you to the car so you guys can see on the dash. So you guys can see on the dash here, we've got obviously system airbag fault, which I've got to sort out. That's the driver's seatbelt buckle. Obviously got the rear lid not closed, PSM failure. That's because the steering wheel needs calibrating, because obviously the tracking's been out. You can see there, temperature's coming up. Oil pressure's up at the top, which it would be. Oil temperature's right down at the bottom. Everything's moving the way it should be. It's got high oil pressure, which is always a good thing, a positive thing, to have high oil pressure. And everything else is moving nicely. Obviously, just them faults we've got to clear, which we'll clear later on with their airbag fault. We've got the rear lid open. We've got enough fuel in the car, as you can see. That's probably why it started straight away. Oil temperature is all the way down, but oil pressure is doing really, really well. It's over 3 bar, which is very, very good, especially for a newly built engine. But you would expect that anyway. Apart from that, guys, you can see it's idling nicely. It's idling where it should be, and temperature's coming up. So it seems to be running really, really well. So there you have it, guys. That's the Porsche 997 engine fully rebuilt and back into the car. As you guys saw, it starts up first time. It's running better than ever. And I can tell you that right now, because of when I got it, it was running like absolute crap. Even the starter motor was struggling to engage, and now it just turns over straight away and starts up straight away. How long will this engine last? Only God knows. Many people say about using iron sleeves, it's not going to last, it's not going to do this, it's not going to do that. But there's many people out there driving with iron sleeves with no issue, that don't have the other ones, as many of you guys know, that many people seem to recommend. Like I said though, as many of you guys know, this is VAG group, Volkswagen Audi group. So what do you expect? It's going to have the usual leaks from here, there and everywhere. As I said to you, am I going to be driving it? No, I'm not. I've got this engine ready really just to shove it outside. It's going to be under a cover. Then I'll get back onto it another time. Right now, we've got to focus back on the BMW videos. There's a lot I need to do. This car has been hogging my lift. I just can't wait to actually just pull it outside, be able to drive it outside. Everything's back in, you know, the engine's back complete, everything's back together. Shove it outside, and you know, I'll probably focus on it again, who knows, next month, next year, whenever I can really be bothered. At the end of the day, there's no rush for me. I've got it here. It does need other bits and pieces. Like I say, I'll get on to doing them bit by bit. It's all minor little things now in the interior. That's why I'm not really fussed about doing it. Easy stuff, got to take out the seat, do the seatbelt buckle, do the window regulator, and just do the window switches and the steering wheel squib. This, not much at all left, and then whatever else after that, I've got to still bleed the brakes and put the wheels back on and get them refurbed, get the bodywork done, this, that. So I mean, the list is endless on this car. And obviously I've got other things to be doing. I've got other better things to be doing than keep doing this, you know. At the end of the day, this car has took up a lot of my time. The engine's now running, can't be happier. If it does have any kind of other issue later on, like I said, then the engine has to come back out. But that's why I'm not looking to find out right now. If it does have a serious issue, I'll find out along the lines later on, purely because if I knew there was an issue now, I know I'm going to take the engine back out and strip it back down, and I'm going to be back again to square one, where I'm not going to be able to do no videos on a BMW and never have my lift free. So that's one of the reasons why, like I said, it's running. I don't see any issue right now. Shove it outside, put a cover over it, and leave it like that so I can move on to doing BMW videos. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'm glad I managed to get this engine rebuild fully complete, finally. Thank you so much to you guys who have stuck by me and actually watched all the videos and supported me along this rebuild. Thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it, and all you guys that have actually joined from actually finding these videos regarding the Porsche engine rebuild. Thank you very much for watching. This BMW Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.